Welcome to Galactic Grandmother, Heart to Heart. My name is April, and my special guest today is Robert Earl White. He is a paranormal investigator. He's got a great new YouTube channel out, and he's going to tell us about that and about his ventures in the paranormal. So, welcome, Robert.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun, April. We investigated the Pine Barrens in the middle of the night, completely dark, miles in a remote location at an old mill village that most people don't even know about. People can say whatever about ghosts. Coyotes are real.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to talk about that's not fun. I'll take any ghosts, a pack to 6 to 8 coyotes. Yeah, I don't know. You only can take so much of them. We had some protection on us, but that's too many. But it was a really fun investigation, and we go out there searching. We went all over the Pine Barrens, doing research, documenting, going to other villages, and we said, "Hey, let's try to find this Jersey Devil thing." But better yet, let's go to an old mill village from the 1700s, which is lying in ruins, hidden in the deep woods, because that was an operational village. Maybe
Yeah.
there's some human entities and spirits, and it turns out, yeah, we were right. We were right. We didn't expect to catch anything, but we did. Yeah, I can't wait for everyone to see that. It's a lot of time and work, and we have hours and hours of footage out in those woods. So, and that will be our next episode.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to be watching each and every one of those. Now, one of the things that I've done is that I clear homes of entities of different kinds.
Yeah,
I had a woman call me up at 9:30 at night,
yeah,
and she had tried to get an exorcism from her church. She had tried to get help. No one was able to help her. She and her husband and her 3 kids left for a 2-week vacation, and they have these darling little dogs. So they hired someone to come and stay with the dogs in their house. And
yeah.
while they were gone, this woman, she did some kind of a blood ceremony in the kitchen. And
Ooh, not good.
all they knew was that they came home and their little dogs were just shaking, nervous. And the woman said, well, they haven't been eating and they've just been so nervous. They just want to kind of stay in this certain area of the
They were
living room.
picking up on that bad juju.
And they went to bed that night, and their little baby wouldn't, who ordinarily slept great, was screaming and wouldn't stay in its crib, in its
Yeah,
room. They had to take the baby in bed with them. Then their daughter screams and says, I'm laying in bed. And she was like 12. And she
yeah.
said she watched something go flying off of her shelf that was on the wall. And
Wow.
then this is same night, their
All in the
son,
same night.
same night, first night they got home, the son saw a shadow figure of a man go walking by the end of his bed and walk into his closet. Now, they didn't find out what, I mean, they didn't hear all this right away. What happened was the parents with the baby in the bed, they're just starting to doze off, and they hear really loud steps on their stairs. So loud that the husband jumped out
Like
of
heavy
bed.
boot steps, like
Yeah,
heavy steps.
yeah.
Yeah.
He grabbed his gun. He goes, you have your phone ready in case we'd have to dial 911.
911. Yep.
And he went to go check it out, and they checked on all of their security cameras, nothing.
Oh, they had cameras in there too.
Yeah,
Wow.
but they didn't pick
How
up
how
anything
how
except
recent, April? When was this? When?
this would have been maybe 3 years ago. I'm
Okay.
guessing.
More recent though.
Yeah, yeah.
Not years
And
and years ago. Recently. Yeah. Wow.
so she called me up and I said, I'll come over first thing in the morning because the kids, were being affected. It's one thing when adults are, but when the kids are getting
Kids.
scared. So I went over there and I tuned in psychically. And what that woman had done is she had opened a portal in the kitchen.
And from the
Never.
sounds of it sounds like there was more than one. It wasn't
There
just the
was.
man entity. Not for
No,
all that activity to go off.
right.
It sounded like it was a just a collision of different things doing different things.
Coming through that portal. Yeah. So I had to close the portal and then I had to walk through the whole house. I did my
Did you
Native,
smudge or
yeah, Native American staging, doing clearing, and that night everything was wonderful. All the kids slept fine, cleared it out just great. It
have they had any more reports since you came there and done that or just stopped?
just stopped completely after
Oh
I
wow.
cleared it out. But maybe a year. It was after that a ways when they started hearing heavy footsteps on the stairs again. So she
Hmm.
called me up and I went over, and it turned out, now get this was when I tuned in, it was a teenage Sasquatch that was coming in. They had a mirror on their stairway landing
Yeah.
because this is a big house. It was probably as big as a full-size bed. And
That's a big portal.
they just had a teenage Sasquatch that was coming through. He didn't have ill intentions. He was just curious coming in, and that's what they heard on the stairs again. So again, because what I do is I try and go in psychically, and in this case, I tuned into his clan of Sasquatch and just explained this was family sacred space and it was scaring the family, and
Yeah.
please not do it anymore. And they were very honorable, and he never came back again. So going from my side of the paranormal activity to your side, do you ever, when you come across like the little boy or maybe that woman's voice that says help me, and I definitely got chills when you were telling these stories. So it really rings true with me. That do you ever feel any kind of compulsion to try and help them out, to help them cross over or something like that?
Yeah, before I answer that, I want to piggyback you with the mirrors
Yeah.
and portals. When we were in Wildwood Sanatorium on our cameras, we recorded it twice where we recorded an orb coming out of the mirror,
Uh-huh.
flying around the whole entire room, and going back into the mirror. We recorded it twice
Mm-hmm.
going right back into the same spot where it came out of the mirror, flew all around intelligently and went back. Mirrors are definitely some sort of portal dimensional thing going on. And there's only so much I know about Bigfoot. I've never seen one, but I do believe they're dimensional
Yeah,
beings.
they
Well,
are. Yeah.
absolutely. This is how they come in and out at will. And I believe that they guard and help protect certain energetic areas, vortexes, and other naturally made portals, or lack of
Right.
better word, energy grid
Yeah.
stuff, whatever. And everyone has their own words for it. But when it comes to help, the Seaview Hospital, when we got that woman's voice,
Mhm.
help, I'm hurt. We did not know that happened until I was home sitting on my chair,
Oh,
and Anthony actually was the one that heard it. He was reviewing his footage. I didn't pick it up on all of mine. He heard it on his, and all he heard was help. When we when he was showing it, do you gotta hear this? Got a woman's voice asking for help. He shows it to me. I listened to it carefully. I'm like, whoa, it's saying help. And we were just so excited. We didn't hear the I'm hurt after it. And then we heard it. And when Anthony and I, when we heard that, it was really, really sad to
right.
think that there
Right.
could be, like, that was the first time where it was emotional, where normally I'm really excited to get evidence. Like, I'm excited to see a shadow
Sure.
person.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear laughing or something like that. But when you hear the pain and something, whatever it may have been, to just imagine that you can spend an existence in that state of torment,
Mm-hmm.
like, I felt horrible. I
Mm-hmm.
felt really sad for it. I wish there was, and that's the worst part about it. Some situations, like I'm not going back in there to get
No,
locked in there. Now we
no.
did some mediums and stuff and astral projectors and remote viewers and stuff like that who watched our video. They contacted us and they're like, if you want, we can try to go in there. And I told them all, yeah, if I mean, you have a better chance at helping them than I ever would. I mean, all we can do is present the story, but that's the problem about paranormal investigation. Some of our most compelling evidence, we don't realize it's happening while we are there. It's
Yeah.
when we come home and we're reviewing our footage, we go, this is unreal. And by that point, it's too late. And then it depends on the situation. Some places we would have the access to get back to. And if we knew there was something, but at like the Wildwood Sanatorium, we didn't get anything asking for help. We got a little boy that loved playing with balloons. He loved his Mickey toy. He seemed happy there, running around, having a good time. So when it comes to the help, the only help situation would when we got that voice, help, I'm hurt, and we felt bad, and we did talk to remote viewers, astral projectors, and mediums, and we're like, hey, if you can target in on this area, and whether I believe in what they do or not, that's
Mhm.
irrelevant. I
Right.
want this person to have any chance of being helped. I don't care who does it. It's just second we heard that EVP entirely, the help, I'm hurt, and the brokenness in the voice, I just had a nasty feeling. Like it was hard to get it. The excitement of capturing something so compelling was
Hmm.
kind of overrode by like emotion and like, man, that's awful. And I hope that don't happen to me. Honestly, that was, in
Hmm.
the brain, like, man, I hope our existence isn't like that, I've always been more positive. I like to imagine myself being a ball of light traveling through the universe doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
But maybe sometimes we don't have that option. I mean, I don't know how to explain the
Hmm.
evidence. I have my own beliefs and things I want to wish for, but our paranormal evidence is saying that sometimes different things happen. I'm not saying every person that
Right.
dies is stuck here as a
Oh, no,
ghost,
no.
but it definitely happens. So like then the question becomes, what determines that? What determines someone being here being a ghost? And what determines someone being a free spirit of energy going through the universe? What determines karma and reincarnation? What's the key factors of determining these things? I don't have an answer for that. And maybe we can. The problem is to get those answers, we need to ask them, and
Hmm.
we're still waiting for a response. But we're trying. We're trying because only people on that side would know.
Hmm.
Yes, we have people on this side that are able to tap in and out, but I'm one of those people, I like to go to the horse's mouth. I
Right.
like to go to the source. So I'm hoping someday we can get some explanation and have some interaction with a ghost somehow, explaining like, why are you here? We speculate, unfinished business. The S word we can't say on YouTube is one-way ticket to get stuck here. I've heard that, especially like religious world and stuff. That was a big one. But don't want to talk about that here. But is it things we've done, what we believe? There's so many. I have way more questions. The more I'm doing these investigations, Anthony and I, we're just every time we get a piece of evidence, we have 1,000 more questions, and we're realizing we don't have the answers. The crazier the thing that happens to us is, the less answers we have. It's insane.
Uh, See how this rings true for you. We are infinite spiritual beings. We've incarnated many, many times. And I think that, say, and it reminds me of when you saw the soldiers on the field at Gettysburg. I think that in certain lives, we just leave behind energies of that
A
lifetime.
piece of our energy,
Yeah. And
residual.
Yeah, like a lot of people are really into soul retrieval. When you go to different places, like you went to Turkey, for all you know, you may have been retrieving aspects, energies of yourself that you had left there in previous lifetimes. And so that's kind of what I think.
Touche.
I think,
Touche.
yeah, yeah. I think
No.
that probably that isn't the, oh no, I'm sure it's not the whole being that needs to be rescued. It's just an aspect of their energy that's been left behind, probably like that woman's voice, caught in a loop. It was traumatic. She just left that piece of energy of her soul there, caught in that loop. And ideally, someday she'll retrieve it and bring it home and alchemize it, like we do. So that's how I kind of feel about it. Is you're finding the real deal. You're finding aspects of people's souls that are still in these dimensions.
And to go with exactly what you're saying, I definitely believe that's an aspect. Like within the paranormal community and stuff, you have hauntings that are like intelligent, intelligent responses. But like in Gettysburg, everything I ever experienced out there was what I called residual. And I don't even think I think sometimes it is a piece of their soul. I
Mhm.
think other times it has it's not a human soul or human at all. I believe certain rocks, certain areas, certain crisscross points on ley lines, etc. Certain areas with certain materials, certain running water, aquifers, limestone, granite, iron, etc. I believe it kind of acts like a battery. And if you have an large energetic event, or in an event that produces a lot of that energy, just like you were saying, leave a soul behind, an event of energy can actually get trapped. And what we are witnessing in some of these cases is the land replaying something that happened there. And then on the other side of that, then there is the pieces of the souls that are reliving that. And I like how you described that, a small piece, that moment in time, that loop of being stuck in there, because it kind of seemed like that. And so I love that. I find that so fascinating. It's a really good way of looking at like a piece left behind for them to collect down the road, because if you do believe in things like past lives, which you and I do, even though I don't like talking about it, but absolutely I talk to my
Mhm.
ancestors. It's just, that's my business.
Right,
That's
right.
not the public's business. But like you said, when I went to the Middle East, I felt home there. Well, I was born and raised in New Jersey, all the way over here. Why would I feel like that? It all goes back. And then when you do your genealogy and history and you have it on paper, you're like, this is what's going on.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I had family members that were Templars and they were traveling, and okay, okay, Jerusalem, cool, cool, cool. And you start to figure it out, and you're like, oh, I'm repeating the footsteps through a new experience,
Mhm.
and collecting those little pieces. And I just hope that, I guess, to kind of bring it full circle, everything you do, and you were telling me, helping make people aware of, the light they have in them, and that the small spark, that they have the ability to make major change and impact. And I just hope that you and I aren't leaving our traumas and our pains around. That's something I've never even consciously thought about. Like, what are the ghosts we are leaving behind? What if we
Oh.
are the ghost to a being in another dimension? We are the ghost. Obviously, if we're in the third dimension and there's a fourth dimension, if for some reason we slightly crossed over for half of a second into that fourth density because of electromagnetic solar flare or something, we would be the ghost. Would we not be?
No,
So it's
I don't
like
think I don't think so because you are this, I'll just say, fabulous spiritual being having an experience here. And if you're in full consciousness and awareness of what you're going through, and then you've done your own personal life review of this life in particular, and you've already alchemized the trauma, you've already worked through it, you're not leaving behind
you're
any.
not like it's the unfinished
It's the
stuff that
unfinished business, I think, of people that get, maybe killed in a war or a car accident, or they just,
unexpectedly something
yeah.
quick. They didn't have time to process like all the pain and hurt that took me years to process and work through.
Mhm.
Like not everyone is that fortunate. Some people don't have an
Right.
option of that. And that does make sense that that's what
Yeah.
causes those energies to get left behind, to stain. It's like a
Right. It's like
stain.
a stain. Yeah. So I
Hmm.
do think, though, just like the beings that came through, the teenage Sasquatch that came through the mirror portal, and like the other entities that came through that portal that was opened in the kitchen, I think that there's entities, conscious entities that you are coming in contact with, probably, that have come through probably natural portals, and
Hmm.
they're here. And so there's everything we can think of, probably, that you might come in contact with on your program.
Yeah. And one thing, Anthony and I, we keep going places, and going to the Pine Barrens was our test. We honestly thought nothing would happen, but the activity that we had going on, we were testing it because we've been saying from day one, we're starting to ask this question. Are we the catalyst? Does it not matter where him and I go? It's starting to seem that way, where, I look at it, we have an army of ancestors and loved ones
Mhm.
behind us, with us, internally, internal soul. We have beyond our comprehension of time, of things we are connected to and unaware of. Now, imagine every human being having this entire army of spirit guides, ancestors, loved ones, etc.
Mhm.
And you're bringing that whole army into a place that already has a lot of stuff going on. And then my colleague Anthony's bringing his army. And you know what I mean? And sometimes I kind of see like maybe that's what's like forcing, this kind of activity to happen, is just like, um, how lightning is formed. When you have a cold front, a hot front, when it collides, when atoms collide, it creates. I try to think our attachments, our ancestors, our energy field. Maybe sometimes when you have I'm very high energy, and that's around me, and I go into a place that's low energy. That's a negative and a positive, which creates friction, which creates light, which creates explosion. Sometimes we're really trying to, like, are we the catalyst? Is it our attachments? Are these shadow people? Maybe they have nothing to do with the place. Like, it's weird that 3 times we've recorded a shadow person. That means Anthony and I, or one of us, or something, could possibly have something tagging along if we keep documenting every time. It's unheard of. I've watched so many paranormal shows. That doesn't happen. Three
Well,
invest and we're worried. We're like, man, we hope
oh,
people don't think we're fake. Like we,
no,
we don't
no.
we don't believe this stuff we're capturing. We've spent hours. I've done paranormal investigations in the past. My Plenty of them. I've never documented the amount of activity. So like I don't know if it's beginner's luck. And then Anthony and I were afraid, like, you know, each time this happens, we're like, how are we going to top that? What's the point? Like it's going to have to stop. We're eventually going to do an investigation where nothing happens, and we can't wait because we want to show everyone that we're just investigating. It's okay for nothing to happen. Sometimes things don't happen. We don't understand why it's happening so much for us. We don't understand. We're trying to though.
Well, I'd like to say that, first of all, the veil is thinner, I believe, than it's ever been
Yeah.
because there's so much more light coming into the planet. And there's so much more light coming out of the planet through everyone waking up.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. But you and I'm assuming Anthony, since you're brothers and in this, carry a light that the that these other frequencies are attracted to, entities in the other frequencies. And just the fact that your intentions are going out into the quantum field, that you want to connect. That's it. I don't think you're,
Intention's everything. I've
yeah,
always been
yeah.
told that. Yeah.
So I really feel like your intention, it's the timing right now, and it's the intentions that you're going out to connect,
Hmm.
is what's drawing the entities to you. And I
Yeah.
don't think that it's anything bad. I just think it's
Mm.
time for people to start thinking about, we only see a small spectrum. We only feel a small spectrum of what's really there. And it's
Yeah.
time for people to wake up.
And
And I,
you bring up a great point, talking about the energy. And sometimes I've wondered about this. I hope it don't come out, it sounds brutal, but I don't mean it in this way. But um, you've heard paranormal cases, batteries being drained, energy, manipulation, technology and stuff. It seems like a lot of what's on the other side feeds off of energy. So
uh-huh,
if you are a person that has a lot of positive energy coming off of you,
mhm.
you might be like a happy meal, a spiritual happy meal. Like, are you hungry? Because if you are a being that feeds off of energy and you have someone come in there and it's like energy, that's like buffet for them, not in a bad thing, but maybe in order for them to manifest something within this reality, they need to draw that energy from this reality in order to manifest something in this reality. Maybe they can't get enough energy in the reality they are in to manifest, even though they have energy. Maybe to break through, you gotta kind of I don't even know the
Okay, here.
tether,
But
tether.
energy can only, okay, your frequency is at a certain level. uh, that energy or frequency of that being would have to be in resonance with you. And if you're a bright light, if you're happy with the best intentions, you have a loving heart, you're anything that comes to you, they're not going to be feeding off your energy. They're going to be in resonance with you. I do believe that there are entities, and we won't go into that, other life forms that do feed off of us, but I think that's one reason that the matrix programming tries to keep people in lower emotional frequencies, because then they're able to be fed their energies.
Can I start making Draco jokes? No.
Yeah,
Um, no, but you
but
just brought up an excellent point.
yeah,
And in a lot of paranormal cases with extreme hostile, like really nasty negative activity, like you said, it was that one girl that was watching the dogs that did some sort of ritual thing because
right,
she was in a dark place after
right.
losing her husband, boyfriend. It seems like low energy people attract low energy things to feed off of them.
Mhm.
It really sounds sometimes when you go to a scene and someone says, "Oh, demonic possession and all this, and I'm being attacked," and you really get to talk to the person, they're really going through a hard time, minus the paranormal aspects
Right,
of it. Like
right.
they're already low vibing, and I think when we're low vibing like that, like you
Mhm.
said, we things meet us where we are on the
Right.
vibration scale.
Yep.
So it's better to be high because then you will encounter things that exist in that higher frequency. But you start vibing in that low, you're going to invite a lot of things that you don't know, understand, and you don't want to know. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your high frequency, and this is a lot of what I do is I help people to transmute their pain and their trauma. And when you could do that, when you transmute that and you release that energy, that low frequency energy, you're able to embody more of your higher self energy, the higher consciousness. And that brings your frequency up. And that just is a protective, natural protective field for you.
Yeah. Starve the bottom fevers and destroy your ego all within the same, it's a double whammy. You're cutting off the food supply to the bottom feeders and you're leaving a piece of your ego back behind in that, using less of that reptilian part of your brain, right? That's
Right.
why it's there.
And I think that you'll probably encounter some entities, which you already have, that are going to be trying to scare you.
They
But you
can't.
have to know, which you do, that you're
Yeah.
untouchable.
No, yeah, no, I'm not afraid of anything under the earth, on the earth, or above it, or even dimensionally. And it's not because of me. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. I know what protects me. I've
Mhm.
seen what protects me. I'm terrified of what protects me. So
Oh,
I dare anyone, anything throughout any dimension or galaxy to try to mess with me. It's not me they gotta worry about. There
yeah.
are beings of light that can turn a city to a pillar of salt. Believe that. There
Mhm.
are beings of light that could straight vaporize this entire planet in 1 second if they wanted to.
Right.
What people have called these entities throughout time and history, many different names, none of them matter. They are real, they exist, and they are more powerful than I can even explain. And although I love it and I look forward to seeing it again, I'm absolutely terrified of it, hands down, because I know the power that these entities have,
Mhm.
some of them. And whatever that is, I'm glad it's on my side and not against me. And I hope to keep it that way. But yeah, I'm not afraid. And I have an army of ancestors behind me. Like
Mhm.
bring it on. Like you said, you're untouchable and you gotta walk in that sovereignty when you're going up against very real, darker dimensional things. But
Mhm.
I've always gotten along with the dark. It runs in my bloodline, like, you know, Draco, hey, what's up? Like it all, the darkness doesn't bother me. I was raised out of darkness, I bask. I do well in it. I love getting out there and helping people. A big thing of ministries isn't going after the healthy, it's going after the sick. The healthy don't need a physician. It's the sick, the broken, and just religiously speaking, Jesus went after some of the worst of them and turned them into apostles. So, like, when my metal band, we were a Christian metal band, we used to ask to go on tour with satanic bands, and we would. Some of the most satanic, big, popular bands ever. We would go on tour with it, and we loved it because those kids listening to that, they needed the help more than the goody two shoe raised in church kids. We didn't care about those kids. They knew what was going on. We wanted to reach people where they were in their life and treat them with respect, love, and have an honest conversation on how to make their lives better. And that's kind of been a principle, it's important.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So I'm not afraid of the dark. I embrace it and I transmute it. That's been the
There you
theme of
go.
this,
That
transmuting.
transmuting. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow. I am just so happy that we had this chance
it's
to,
been fun.
it
Yeah.
has been a lot of fun. I hope to do it again. And
Yep.
I hope to see your channel, Paranormal Unearthed, just take off because it's helping people realize that there's more than our five senses here. And
Yeah.
and it's part of our spiritual nature. It gets back to our spiritual nature. So I am so thankful that you took the time to have this heart to heart conversation with
And
me.
thanks for having me on. It's been a blast. And everyone, if you're watching this video, make sure you subscribe to her channel,
Oh,
Galactic Grandmother, and
yes.
hit that like button and share this video. And while you're at it, go over to Paranormal Unearth. Give us a subscribe. Even if you don't want to subscribe, that's cool. Just watch the video and give it a like. And if you dig it and want to see more, you're welcome to the family. Everyone's
Wonderful.
welcome,
Yeah.
and we hope everyone enjoys our content. Anthony and I, Amy, all this. It's just the three of us doing this. We are open to working with other people, having people, we were talking about like Lily Nova when we go out to Arizona and stuff. Eventually, someday, once we get to
Uh-huh.
that point, we want to have people like Lily, or when we're out your way, people like you, and we do come
Ooh,
across a situation. And one thing, our latest episode, we were helping, a homeowner. Anthony and I want to do more of homeowners. Yeah, it's fun to go to the big places, paranormal haunts, but they're a lot of money. Sometimes it's just all hype and no activity at all, and you're spending all this money. I'd rather just take people at their word, and people that say, "Hey, I have paranormal activity in my house." I'd rather go there, help them, try to help them validate their own experiences. And if needed, we do have connections with archbishops who perform exorcists and stuff. The
oh,
Order of
okay.
Exorcists, we're friends with some of the archbishops
Good.
and stuff like that. So if in our area, so like if we ever come across something like this is dangerous, someone's going to get hurt, Anthony and I we're like, yo, Bishop Enright, get over here. Like, send someone down. And yeah, so that's what it's all about. And people out there, if you have a haunted place, please contact us. Our email is paranormalunearth777 at gmail.com. And if you live in the East Coast area and you would love to have us come check it out, hit us up, let us know. And vice versa. If you have abilities very much like, April, and you're able to do certain things, we would love to have others come on investigations because we want others to experience what we are experiencing in real time. It's incredible.
And
So thank you.
I will put your contact information under this video. So please contact Robert, contact myself, comment. We want some feedback about others' experiences for sure. So I love you, brother. Oh, I'm wishing you the best
Much
of
love.
luck with this. And oh, I just appreciate what you do so much and who you are.
Likewise. Keep it up. Don't change for anyone, April.
Oh, I won't, not at this point.
No, no.
All
Can't
right.
teach old dog new tricks,
That's right.
stuck in their
That's right.
ways.
Yeah.
But they're
All
good
right.
ways you're stuck
Yeah.
in, so
Yeah.
stay stuck in them.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I can't wait to see your newest video that you put out, and it's going to be exciting.
Pine
Okay.
Barrens, Jersey Devil. Oh,
Yeah.
stay tuned, everyone.
All right, you guys. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Robert, for taking your time to be with me. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All
See
right.
you next time.
All right. Bye bye.